So, pitfall number one.
Okay.
The penalties. I mean,
Yeah.
let's talk about it. Basically getting a penalty for not enrolling into Medicare.
The way Medicare looks at that is if you don't get enrolled when you are first eligible.
First eligible is the word.
Yeah,
Yep.
they like to say that. When were you first eligible? Then you do have a penalty. There are penalties for Part B and penalties for Part D.
Got it.
In those situations.
Okay, let's talk. Let's break it up.
Okay.
So there's Part A, but that's free for most people.
Most people, that's right.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're not talking about A. We're talking about B. So again, you weren't covered through work. Okay. Well, hold on. Before we get into that, if you are covered through work, Medicare looks at it as creditable coverage.
Yes.
Correct?
If you do have creditable coverage at work,
Yeah.
and Medicare means by that coverage that's at least as good as what Part B would be, that coverage.
Okay.
So if you do, then you don't need to sign up for Part B yet.
Right.
But eventually, when that coverage goes away, usually that's when you retire,
right,
and that coverage goes away, then Medicare considers you first eligible at that point, and that's when you should get signed up. If you don't, and you sign up, 6 months later, a year later, 5 years later, then you will have a penalty from Medicare.
Okay.
For not signing up when you were first eligible.
And what's that penalty?
That penalty for Part B, they figure it to be 10% increase on your premium for every 12 months that goes by when you did not sign up when you could have.
Okay.
So if a year goes by, that's a 10% increase on your premium.
Okay. And then let's talk about the penalty on Part D, which is your prescription plan.
Yes.
Correct?
Yes.
What is that penalty?
Yeah, there's also a penalty on Part D if you did not sign up when you were first eligible, but they figure it differently. The way Medicare looks at it is there's a 1% increase on your premium for every month.
Every month.
Every month that goes by when you did not sign up when you could have.
Okay.
So after a year, that's a 12% increase. And if several years go by, of course, it's a pretty hefty increase.
Well, let's talk about that. So let's just say you have a client that came into the office and say, Steve, I don't have any prescriptions.
Yeah.
I don't want Part D.
Yeah.
Fine.
Well, and that does happen sometimes.
Okay.
People say that. But I encourage people to get signed up for Part D just because we don't want them to have a penalty down the road, when they sign up later.
Well, that's where I'm getting at.
Yeah.
So let's say they're 65, no prescriptions, but now they're 75 years old.
Yeah.
They can go to Medicare and get a Part D plan.
Yeah.
No problems.
Well.
But then they're going to say, well, that's where I'm getting at. Beware. So they're going to say, oh, yep. Oh, wait a minute. When were you first eligible?
Exactly.
That's 1% per month.
Yes.
Times 10 years.
That would be a lot.
Is it a slap on the wrist and we're done?
No. That, it'd be better for a lot of people if Medicare.
That's not how it works.
If Medicare just fined them $50 or something and be done with it.
Yeah.
But the penalty is something that you're not done with because it continues, every year. And you're going to have Part B and Part D the rest of your life, really. And so you're going to have that penalty.
All right, rest of your life.
Yeah.
Well, beware of that, folks. I mean, again, the penalty is a big one, but be careful of the water cooler talk too. Mm-hmm. I mean, just because somebody at work says you are 65, you better sign up, that's not always true.
Exactly.
That is not always true, and that is why you talk to a professional, like my man over here. Okay.